I'd like to now take the direction of this discussion towards Senior Professor Ajantha Dharmasiri. Professor, when we talk about leadership, you're someone whom we always know and have seen as a academic. You are a practicing academic, very fluent with both the academic world as well as the practicing world, as a non-executive director in many leading organizations, with also a lot of industry exposure as well as a professional, and someone in the forefront of leadership research. Now, we all know the pandemic completely had a paradigm shift effect on the business world, not only in Sri Lanka but around the world. And this also means we've begun to see a lot of different patterns of how leadership is being carried out, how leaders are expected to behave, and this new paradigm is further compounded with the effects of AI disruption, with the effects of new remote working methods. We see some organizations locally and globally are still following the remote working methods. What are some of the key leadership disruptions or leadership style or leadership pattern changes that you see emerging via research, via the studies done in this new post-pandemic AI disruption driven era?
Thank you, Tarindu, and thank you, BIMT, for inviting me. I think we see leadership is emerging, evolving, and expanding in many areas. So, in terms of corporate leadership, I would say that after COVID, we saw very clearly the people factor coming to the forefront. It is not the profit, it's not the planet, it's not the processes, it's the people who make or break. So we saw that happening. Some CEOs who were very much profit conscious had to look at their people, and employee well-being came into the center. So employee well-being ensured that they are well looked after and they are well motivated, they are well engaged, so that they gave their best. So the emergence of new leadership patterns revolved around this, Tarindu. And I would say perhaps one of the most recent one could be harmonized leadership, where you have multiple harmonies emerging. On one side, AI, on the other side, EI. So AI, EI, harmony. Artificial intelligence as a versatile tool, but it can be a volatile master if you don't have emotional intelligence. So you have to have emotionally intelligent leaders using AI wisely and in the right mature manner. And when Mr. Dinesh Virakodi showed Bill Gates' comment on AI, in fact, he had different versions. So he said only complex energy systems, complex biology, and of course, AI creation will not be replaced by AI. All other things will be replaced by AI. So that's where the leaders have to think afresh. Leaders have to have that refreshingly reviving approach to their business. So disruption is absolute must. So disruption leads to distinct way of deliberating and coming up with different products and different services. So we saw during COVID, when people could not come to banks, banks went to the doorsteps of customers. So they had e-commerce, they had online platforms. So that's one example where leaders have to be future focused. Leaders have to be thinking of future. And as they say, future belongs to those who create it. So corporate leaders have to create that value-adding future. So in my view, Tarindu, the way the leadership work is being developing, some of the traditional models are being increasingly challenged. So we had a concept of leading from the front. Leader is at the front and everyone goes behind the leader as followers. Now, recently I read a book. In fact, my good friend Dinesh said to read a book at least once a month. So I got this book from India 2 weeks ago. The title is Leading from the Back. No more leading from the front, leading from the back. So the idea is the leader becomes a catalyst and everyone else becomes an empowered leader. So a great leader does not have followers. A great leader has a bunch of empowered leaders. So a great leader becomes a leader breeder. So the empowered leaders go in front and the leader is more giving them spiritual, emotional support, intelligence, advice. So that's the new model that is coming out. So whether leader is physically there with the team or not is immaterial. So that's where the social movements, we have seen all the time, the leader is not there, but the people do the needful. So that's where the emergence of leadership. I think these new concepts need one important thing in our minds. So it all begins with the right mindset. So I always am very critical with the emergence of technology. We have the fancy way of embracing technology. So tool set comes to the front. So in my view, first the mindset, then the skill set, then only the tool set. If we start with tool set, things can go chaos. So we have already seen AI being misused, AI being abused, AI being used for all the wrong reasons in creating sometimes utter filth. So mindset is the starting point. So in my view, Tarendu, leadership is not something to do with positions and titles. It is more to do with decisions and actions. Everyone has to think and act like a leader, and we need to foster that kind of leadership for the social, economic upliftment of a nation.
Thank you, Professor, for sharing your thoughts with a brief on some of the new developments we've seen in the leadership front, and at the same time also your thoughts on how you see leadership. And it's not about the positions or titles, it's about the attitude. Thank you so much.